Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. This channel is dedicated to biofloc and aquaculture. My name is Sailesh. This topic will cover the basics of biofloc. What is biofloc? Now, biofloc is a technology for intensive high density aquaculture. So it is a system in which you use less water on a small piece of land and get high outputs of fish and shrimp. The Biofloc system was developed in the US and in Israel in the 1990s, and it is currently being used widely, predominantly in the Asian countries. Now, in this system, what happens is, as compared to other systems where you have to take your water out of the tank and filter it outside and bring it back, or where you keep exchanging water on a regular basis, in Biofloc what happens is the water is treated in such a way that you don't need to take your water out for filtration purposes, or you don't need to keep exchanging water. The water treats itself in situ. It's called in situ treatment, whereby the waste in the water is converted into what is called microbial feed, and that is what we call floc. The word biofloc is a combination of two words, bio and floc. Bio is a contraction of the word biological, and floc comes from the word flocculation. So when the probiotics in the tank, which is the bio, come together and form colonies, that process is called flocculation. So bio and then floc. So it's a flocculation or a colony of good bacteria. Now the good bacteria converts the waste in the water into microbial feed, which the fish can then consume. So what does that do? That reduces the amount of feed that you need to give to the fish. In conventional systems, you typically have 2 kilos of feed requirement to produce 1 kilo of fish. In Biofloc, that reduces to 1.2 kilos of feed to 1 kilo of fish. Now this is called the feed conversion ratio. That is the amount of feed that you need to produce 1 kilo of fish. The FCR, or the feed conversion ratio, in typical systems is 2+, whereas in Biofloc, the normal level is 1.2. Overall, you get a significant saving in terms of feed cost. Now, if you look at aquaculture, the biggest cost component of production is feed cost. Now, with this system, when you reduce your feed cost, you have taken away a big chunk of your production cost. And that is one of the biggest benefits that you have. The benefits that Biofloc has is twofold. One is to treat the water, and secondly, to produce feed within the tank which the fish can consume. The tanks that we use in Biofloc are typically circular tanks because we need to avoid any form of sludge deposits happening at the bottom of the tank. There are rectangular tanks also, but the construction is very different from your conventional tanks. In Biofloc, you can use tarpaulin tanks or you can use cement tanks, but they have to be constructed in a defined way. There's a prescribed way of constructing these tanks, and it is important that you construct them in the way that it is recommended. The capacity of the tank can range from anything from 1,000 liters to 100,000 liters. The stocking density, the recommended stocking density for Biofloc is between 25 to 30 kilos per cubic meter of water. Another important thing in Biofloc is the aeration system. The aeration system has to be on 24/7, so you need consistent power backup in case of power failure. Why do we need this? Because there are two systems that are running in the tank. So one is your fish and one is the water itself, because the water has living organisms in the form of biofloc. They need oxygen to survive. And you also need to keep your environment oxygenated. The moment you have a situation where your oxygen levels are low, or what we call anoxic status, that is the time when you have noxious gases like hydrogen sulfide, methane, and the like being produced in the tank. And these are poisonous. Also, for the various cycles that are taking place, there is a heterotrophic cycle, there is an autotrophic cycle, there is an algal uptake cycle that takes place in the tank. All these cycles need oxygen to work properly. So aeration is very important both for the fish as well as for the system. In Biofloc also, you need to remember that the particles need to remain in a suspended form, and we do not want them to sit at the bottom, because once they sit at the bottom, then it creates an anaerobic zone or anoxic zones. So aeration is very important in Biofloc. Now, in order for you to become successful in Biofloc, the ideal recommended process or steps are that: one, you take proper training first. You have to get proper training so that you understand the technology, because this technology is very scientific and everything is managed and implemented scientifically. So you have to have proper training. Once you have the training, it is then recommended that you do a small setup so that you can have hands-on experience without having to spend too much. And once you've done one culture in a small setup, then you can now move into a commercial undertaking. These are the steps that ideally would be recommended for one to be successful in this technology. Thank you very much. I want to keep this very short just to introduce the concept of Biofloc. I will be posting more videos, more detailed videos, so please subscribe to my channel so that you get notifications on when I post my videos, and you can be updated with the latest in Biofloc. Thank you very much.